I figure out how to get this video out of the way, out there onto the internet before every single known media outlet on the internet and on television decides to turn this into a three-ring fucking circus, going in and setting their sights on every single video game manufacturer, developer, publisher, and every single person who picks up a controller, a mouse, a keyboard, anything and decides to say that they are in fact a fucking video gamer and enjoy video games. The circumstances of all of this is sickening and disgusting. You can already tell just by, one, the tone, and two, the title of this video, but a 22-year-old dude goes on Google Maps, looks up a really ritzy-looking house, one where it's pretty obvious that the people who own it and inhabit it and live in it have some cash. So he goes there and he beats the family and then shoots them in the head. So then he goes and gets caught and tells the police, well, the reason that I was able to do this, it was so much easier because I played violent first-person shooters. So that right there is going to be the thing that sets all the shit off. And knowing the fact that it's election season, sure enough, this kind of stuff will end up going and making fucking, like, nationwide front page news. So just prepare yourselves for it. But going on, he also is apparently suffering from bipolar disorder, suffering from depression, and is supposed to be taking medication. So taking all of this into account, and I've talked about the effects of violent video games, or would-be effects of violent video games on any of the people out there that go and play them, and whether or not it's going to turn the individual into a violent, murdering psychopath. And again, I'm going to say, based off of all of this, it's not the case. And somebody could say, well, Alpha, I have to go and disagree with you. That's fine, but I'm going to tell you something right here, right now, that kind of just shows one big glaring fault in his argument about this entire thing. And that's, he said that, well, playing the video games made it a lot easier to go and do something like this. He admitted this to the police officers, and he's also up for trying to go and get a lighter sentence, despite the fact that he's going to be serving 3 consecutive life sentences, but he might be dumb enough to think that if he goes and he says a lot of this stuff, that they might go and say, oh, well, we can't hold him accountable for a lot of his actions that he decided to go and do here. This dude went there with all intents and purposes of doing harm to people and then stealing. There was no other reason for him to go and do something like that. He didn't lash out violently at any random people. He went there with intent and purpose to go and get things of monetary value because he is a fucking greedy, pathetic piece of shit. Why the fuck does that need to be explained? There are sick fucking people in the head that for whatever reason have access to weapons, that are on medication, and on top of that, cannot just be called what the fuck they are, and that's mentally ill, fucked up, and terrible people. There are some people that just don't care. That's a thing. But no, we have to go and apply labels. Oh, there has to be some kind of reason behind all this. Look at the foundation. It has to be the things that they interact with. Oh, those books that they're reading, the music that they're listening to, the TV shows and the movies that they're watching, and clearly they're upbringing, but so many fucking things, but it can't just be that they were fucked up. Or they just chose to be terrible because they thought they'd get away with it. I mean, the dude looked this shit up so he could steal, and then went there and decided to go and murder them so he could get away with all of this stuff, since obviously they must have been home. I mean, what the fuck? Wait, you think that you're playing a violent first-person shooter? Well, I was going and playing matches online in Call of Duty, so that's what made this easier. That should be a fucking red flag right there, that you're not dealing with the most stable of minds. Whenever they say that, you know, playing that video game made doing this stuff a whole lot easier, that I know is illegal and is obviously morally fucked up, clearly, there's something wrong here. But it doesn't matter, because agendas need to be pushed. Oh, there's a problem with some kind of medium, we better go and take action and use this as a fucking excuse to go and march against it. That's all this fucking crap is, and that's all it ever turns up to be. I mean, fuck. How many times have I talked about, and millions of other people out there have talked about, all of the different positive things that gaming has done, but never once do you fucking hear a major media outlet go and talk about, because good news isn't worth talking about for them, because that doesn't get the ratings, that doesn't push the agendas, that doesn't go and line the fucking pockets, and that doesn't make the right people happy that have the fucking pull and say so. But this kind of shit right here, oh man, that's how you start a fucking crusade against something. And again, it's fucking, we have all the political bullshit going on right now, and I can just see it, and it's fucking crazy, because this is kind of stuff that they use as fodder. You know, this is kind of stuff that they end up bringing to a podium whenever they're going and speaking out about shit, because if there's any rally of people that are angry about something, they're trying to go and win them over, and any of the fucking chuckleheads that think, oh man, that's totally right, those video games, all of them just make people murderers. That's what's going to happen. And the worst part about it is the fucking family ends up becoming an afterthought. The people that lost their fucking lives become an afterthought. I mean, the entire 3 people, part of the Welp family, were brutally beaten and then killed because of a greedy, sadistic, low-life, worthless fucking sack of shit. And this is what everybody's going to focus on, is video games. That's what the fuck they're going to go and focus on. Oh man, they're evil, they're the devil, just so you know. You shouldn't ever let your kids go anywhere near them. This stuff fucking astounds me. And this dude's gonna serve 3 consecutive life sentences and is probably stupid enough to think that, oh man, if I go and say all this shit, it's totally going to fucking hell. You know how many times somebody goes to court with all this shit inside their head thinking, you know, if I just go and say all this crazy stuff, I won't be charged with anything. And that fucking asshat, that empty-headed motherfucker probably thinks that exact thing. Oh, well, I play games. That'll be great. Now, no mention of what video games, you know, it eventually will probably be brought up the more that they end up going and speaking to him, because they'll end up going and spilling the beans about anything, because the motherfucker's already behind bars. Thankfully, he got caught. Thankfully, before he decided to go back home with whatever amount of shit that he ended up getting and decided to go and look up another house on Google Maps. I mean, this is the fucking world that we live in. You know, and nobody's held accountable for their actions. It's just a fucking blame game every single day. I fucking hate this shit. Nobody wants to go and be held accountable for their actions at all, no matter how heinous the fucking crime. It's always gotta just be a fucking finger-pointing scapegoat bullshit fucking 3-ring circus that makes no sense and just turns insane. I mean, I've been playing games my entire life and never once did any of them just give me this fucking rush of adrenaline that I needed to go out and act out all those violent scenes from whatever violent video game I was playing. Oh, I played Splatterhouse and I need to go out and I need to go and kill people just like Rick does inside the game. No, I was playing Resident Evil. I was shooting things. They look a lot like people. I mean, I know they're zombies, but I mean, I'll pretend it's real. Oh, bang, 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 and shoot things. No. You know what kind of people do that? Fucking psychos do that. Crazy people. But I don't need to explain that to all of you, because you already know that. And for any of the people that this does need explained to you, where the fuck have you been? What rock did you crawl out from underneath? And how the fuck did you get an internet connection? It's amazing. People are fucked up. There's fucked up people out there in the world. There is murderers. There are thieves. There are rapists. There's tons of different fucking people. And none of them are fucking doing this shit because they played a video game. They're doing it because they are fucking horrible subhumans. They do it because they've been, like, you have somebody that's already mentally fucked up and is going on doing stuff because he admitted, I wanted to go and steal, and then decide to go and hurt the fucking people. Oh, clearly that's because he was going and playing something like Battlefield, right? He went into that online multiplayer match. That caused him to want to go and do this shit. And I can hear it. I can even see the fucking headlines. I'm prepared right now to read this shit and sit there fucking seething at the display of ignorance that's going to go out there. And again, you want to know who will be targeted? The entire industry. All this shit right here. All of you. Me. Anybody. Everybody. The only thing that makes me fucking feel violent is injustice and ignorance and stupidity and just fucking horrible things like that. Sure as shit, not my games. So, I want to go, and again, just get this video out there before it becomes a fucking mess. Hey, maybe it won't be. Maybe this will suddenly just avoid the fucking storm, but you know that there's going to be some motherfucker out there that's going to, and they're going to end up making us all fucking livid at the fucking audacity of it. Anyway, that's it. Need to get this shit off my chest and say all this stuff because, well, it's common sense. And the unfortunate fact of the matter is, common sense is not that fucking common.